The Vinny Brusco Show on ZenLive.tv. Joining us always in Rocco's Modern Corner, Rocco Venuzio.
Amen. Yes, sir. Can I get an amen?
To his left, Carmen DeFabio. There you go. Steering the ship, as always, Michael. And on the line, New York Times best-selling author. Very excited to have him on, Mr. Ben H. Winters. What's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Right.
Welcome.
What's going on?
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. My pleasure. My gosh, it's a madhouse over there, huh?
It usually is a lot of fart jokes and a madhouse. So your newest book, The Last Policeman, give us a little premise of the book. Just came out, right?
Came out last week, as a matter of fact. Yes, sir.
And give us a premise of the book.
Straightforward. Basically, it's a murder mystery. I got a detective trying to crack a case. Everyone says it's a suicide. He's pretty sure it's a murder. The other thing you got to know is that the world is going to end in about 6 months. There's a massive asteroid headed towards the planet. It's going to end civilization as we know it. So that's like the background. The background information is all this is going on. So my hero is this detective who's determined to do his job correctly, no matter what the circumstances are, even though civilization is about to end.
Oh, shit.
That's pretty interesting.
That's awesome.
Where did you come up with the concept for this?
Well, you know, I've always loved detective stories, and I love detective stories where the sort of psychology of the hero is as interesting as anything else in the book. Like, it matters more, like, the mind of this guy than the case itself, basically. So I was like, what can I do to really create an interesting character here? And I was like, what if I make it so that he's the only person left who gives a shit about his job? He's the only person left who cares, and he cares so much, he's going to do it right no matter what is going on.
He's still
that's where it came from.
He's still doing traffic stops.
No, he's not doing traffic stops. And, like, it's actually interesting the way the world is happening. It's like there are still cops on the job, but no one cares anymore about stuff like smoking weed is fine. Like, everyone's getting high all the time. But they're, he's trying to solve this murder, and everyone's like, it doesn't matter. Who cares? So this guy killed himself, or he got killed. Who could possibly care? But my hero was like, it matters. It still matters that we, like, take care of each other, and we, make sure the world is a good place to live right up until the very end.
That's awesome.
Wow. And then this is the first of a 3-part series, am I correct?
That's my plan, yeah. Basically, I've set this book about 6.5 months before the world ends, and my idea is that there's going to be a sequel that takes place about 4 months before the world ends, and then a final book I want to do, like, in the last couple weeks. I'm trying to figure out what kind of
cool
he's solving right before the asteroid hits. So
now we have to talk about another book of yours, Sense, Sensibility, and Sea Monsters. Another awesome book. It was kind of in that realm of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter and Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. When did that come out, and how many times did you have to read Sense and Sensibility to add in Sea Monsters?
A bunch of times, definitely. I knew the book pretty well even before I started this project, but I definitely sort of had to crack it open and kind of outline it. It's funny, I tell people, like, writing that book, it was like going to graduate school as a fiction writer. Because, like, to do a book-length parody of something, you have to totally understand it. You have to really get inside what the author was doing. So it was like a really interesting challenge and really fun and kind of ridiculous, But I had a great time.
It was. Are you one of the people that read all the other ones? And where did that come in, like, in the lineage of Pride, Prejudice?
Here's my lineage. Basically, it was my editor, this guy Jason Rakulik at Quirk Books, whose idea it was for all these books, these mashup books, and he hired this guy Seth Graham Smith to write Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which was a huge hit. This was in I think 2009, and the publisher, they realized right away they were going to want to do a sequel. But Seth was already doing something else, so I lucked out. They basically called me because I've worked with them before, and they said, "Hey, do you want to write a book called Sense, Sensibility, and Sea Monsters?" And I was like, "Yeah, totally, you bet." So that's how I got involved, and it was like, it was the weirdest big break that anybody's ever had. Like, that was my first published work of fiction. It was like, okay, great, I'll take it. So.
Awesome.
Now, real quick, back to The Last Policeman. Your character, if I'm not mistaken, you said there's a murder-suicide, quote-unquote. It was in a McDonald's?
Yeah, that's right. The opening scene of the book takes place in the bathroom of a McDonald's. This is in Concord, New Hampshire, where the book is set. And he's found this guy who seems to have hung himself. And everyone else is perfectly satisfied to accept that explanation. But my hero, Detective Palace, he's certain that this guy was killed and left there at the McDonald's.
Which is kind of a weird thing to be hung in a McDonald's bathroom. Where did you get that? Like, what made you think, like, oh, I'm gonna have the guy die in a McDonald's bathroom?
I'm not sure. You know, like a lot of writers, I set the book in a specific place, and I went there a lot. Like I went to Concord, New Hampshire a ton to research this book, and for some reason I kept gravitating to this one McDonald's that's right where the highway lets off onto Main Street, and it's kind of like no offense to McDonald's, but I find McDonald's in general to be kind of depressing.
You know what it is? It's after you eat it, you feel so depressed about you feel so depressed.
That's exactly right. It's like a trick. It like looks so delicious, but then you eat it, and 10 seconds later, you're like, oh, why did I do that? I feel shitty about myself
every time.
So it just seemed like a really depressing place for a person to die. So that's why I set it there.
Excellent. And you're originally from New York, and now you live out in Indiana. Am I right?
That's right. Just a couple weeks ago, I just moved to Indianapolis. For my wife's career, actually, she's a professor. So she got a tenure track job out here. So we just moved here. And it's funny. Just before I got on the phone with you guys, I've been unpacking, and I found all the copies of Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters. It's been translated into all these different languages. So every once in a while, they send me like in Portuguese or Japanese, or it's crazy.
The Japanese one has to be like
it's a trip.
So yeah, it's got to be insane to look at. I got to ask you, are you a Knicks fan? Or are you? I'm an Indiana Pacers fan. So
I'm not a super sports guy, so I sort of go whichever the way the wind blows. So now that I'm here, I'm sure I'll be happy to be a Pacers fan. That's fine. I'll take it. Whatever, man.
And are you still doing the cool promotion at thelastpoliceman.com?
thelastpoliceman.com. What we did is we got a lot of interesting or funny or smart people to write little essays about what they would do if the world were about to end. So I have some really cool people on there. My favorite is this guy, Matt Besser, who is he's kind of a comedy legend. He's one of the founders of the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, so you should check that out, lastpoliceman.com.
And what would you do?
I knew you were going to ask me that.
You have to ask, man.
What would you do? You tell me, because it's a hard question.
I don't know, man. I'd probably go to Europe and probably skydive.
See, here's the thing, though. You think you would do that, but
everyone's trying to kill you and rob you.
Who's gonna fly the plane to Europe? Like all the airline pilots will quit their jobs too.
You don't think about that.
Yeah.
All right, so we got to throw it back in your lap. What would you do?
Well, see, I am a family man. I think I would hang out with my kids as much as I possibly could. I know it's not the most exciting answer, but like I would probably stay at home a lot and read all the books I keep meaning to read, and like hang out with my kids, maybe drink some good wine.
I tried to finish Skyrim.
Good luck.
Listen, Ben, thank you.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Ben, Vin, you've been capitalizing on all of this man's time. Ben, what is society like in your book, in The Last Policeman? Like, what's going on in society? Like, is there still TV and the news and stuff, or what's going on?
TV and the news are still around, although electricity is starting to get unreliable. And cell phones are starting to get unreliable. Because if you think about it, like a lot of the people who work those jobs, the infrastructure jobs,
they just gave up. Yeah.
And a lot of the equipment starting to fall over and nobody is repairing it. So like in the first book of the trilogy, that stuff is starting to go away. And I think by the time I'm working on the second book now, it's basically falling apart.
That's so cool.
And the economy is basically falling apart also. Inflation is out of control. We're sort of teetering into a depression because, a lot of people stop working. People stop saving money. And when there's no savings, then there's no new projects. There's the interest rate. all this stuff.
Yeah.
Just built on itself. It's actually, I did a lot of research with sociologists and economists to try to, I want the book to feel really like what things would really be like. Because it just makes it for a really interesting background for my murder mystery,
That's so cool, man.
Before I cut off anybody else, Rocco, you got any questions? You're good, Rock? All right. Good. Ben, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. Where can everyone get the book?
Well, you can get it wherever books are sold, as they say. You can go on Amazon, or you can go to your favorite local bookstore. I'm a big fan of local independent bookstores. You guys have got some great ones in New York, so go check it out wherever you like to buy books.
Ben, one more question. How do you feel about e-books now starting to take over?
I have mixed feelings about it. It's I don't think anyone will kill me for saying this, but like when people buy ebooks, authors as of right now get less money, and they're trying to
really.
That's all being negotiated. Yeah, because they can sell them at a loss, and Amazon is being really aggressive about it. So they sell ebooks for pretty cheap because they're trying to get people to get on the Kindle. It's a whole thing, and like it's all getting sorted out right now. My big thing is I want people to read. If people are reading, I'm happy. If you buy my book, I don't care if you read it on an ebook or an iPad or a book or, if you're on a roll of toilet paper. If you're reading it, I'm happy.
Well, I'm going to buy a hardcover copy of The Last Policeman, sir.
There you go.
Dude, check it out, guys.
Absolutely,
I hope you like it. I really do.
Very excited. Of course, thelastpoliceman.com and at Ben H. Winters on Twitter. Anything else you got, Ben?
Nah, man, that's it. You can find me if you need me.
All right, excellent, man. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Ben.
Really appreciate it. New
My
York
pleasure.
Times.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks for coming on. New York Times best-selling author, Ben H. Winters. Very good. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Very
guys.
cool, man. Very
nice.
cool.
That's awesome.
All right, we're going to take a quick...